Hi everyone, you're listening to the Vialucci podcast, uncensored and completely unedited discussions about life and everything in it. We hope you enjoy the show.
We all good?
Hello.
Good. Hello. Jules.
Hello.
Oh yeah, I was just saying you suit the chair very well.
Thanks.
For anyone watching, you've matched the very well.
I've got one of these as well. Well, I mean, I think I probably got an authentic one.
You got class that you realised they weren't quite there.
I'm only
Where
joking.
do you? One of your videos, actually, I wasn't sure if you mention you lived in Camden and you'd moved to Bruce Grove, or was you speaking to somebody else?
No. I'm from Camden.
Yeah, but you live in here at the moment.
Security reasons, I can't disclose exactly where, but no, my sister and Simon are up in, and they help a lot.
Something.
They help a lot with the videos, so
Right.
They're up in Tottenham.
Funny enough, the video you did for Bruce Grove, Tottenham, was one of the, because I'm not interested in any sort of, I've never London stuff or anything. It would never bothered me at all. But it was your bloody channel caught me, and it's one of the very few where if I watch one of the videos, I can't do anything else while I'm watching it. I'll try because I'll try and watch a video because I'm constantly working. There's nothing. There's just work, and I'll put your thing on, and the Tottenham one, I had to keep stopping and just watching it because I thought I'm enjoying this, which is it's just one person's view, but you really.
Well, it's not one person. I mean, because my sister helped a lot with that, and so did Simon. And
I mean, just from my point of view, it's just one person.
Oh, I see.
A compliment from one person, but it's a compliment from somebody that doesn't watch anything like that. So then I watched one. And I thought, I've been to there. Let me watch that. Then I just went through the lot of them over like a long time. Yeah,
hooked him in.
But it's like because you might be at Buckingham Palace, then sort of eating a Jamaican patty in Bruce Grove, and it's the way they're done, which is only you. You can't do that with somebody else because you will go off on tangents. You will start talking to a shop worker. Somebody will walk past. Then you'll have a conversation.
Yeah,
and you can't fake that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, I'm not really a tour guide.
Yeah, no.
I'm
commentator.
I'm just I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
what.
Yeah.
And I make these films, but I want to make them the best that they can be.
Yeah.
So they do take rather a long time to put together, and sometimes you do stuff which is known as shooting for the edit.
Okay.
A lot of the jokes and things like that, it doesn't necessarily happen the way that it looks. I mean,
so you are
for example,
a filmmaker. You're making.
Well, when I walk into a shop, for example, I go, okay, let's go into the shop.
Oh no.
That interview has been done on a different day. And quite often Simon only really joins me on the day that I'm filming. So
I don't mean so
the
much.
rest of the filming is done by me.
Yeah, not so much the walking in the shops because sometimes they know who you are, but it's there'll be somebody in the street just stood there and just start talking about something random. And I don't want to pull back.
That bloke was nice in Tottenham. He was a good bloke.
In Tottenham, yeah.
Started talking to him.
I don't want to pull back the curtain too much, but I was thinking you're quite knowledgeable and it doesn't look like you're reading off a cue card because you will go off on random tangents. So how much do you know that's like pre-learned?
How much do I know? Well, I do research.
Yeah.
I mean, because personally, I don't think there's any point in making a video if you're just going to stand. So one of the reasons I believe you probably like the films is because there isn't too much in them that's sort of pointless, irrelevant.
Yeah.
In general, I mean, they take a long time to make.
Right.
I mean, I spend ages editing these things because I like to remove anything that's boring, stupid, not relevant, not interesting. And so that's why it feels almost a bit like you're being bombarded by facts a bit too much because I just remove all the other stuff.
Right.
Because if you watch a lot of videos, there's a lot of people sort of they'll just go, oh, well, yes, so, it's an amazing view, isn't it? And so, and there's a lot of and sort of dead time. And I just decide to remove that sort of stuff. So it does give the impression that I'm a lot more knowledgeable than I am. But I mean, I do research. But also if I throw in a kind of quip or something, I'm reasonably well educated as well. So there is a mixture. It's a mixture of researching, general knowledge, and also having been doing them for a long time now. I now do feel like I've got quite a good knowledge of London and the history, and because a lot of the same people keep popping up. There'll be certain characters for some reason, like I don't know, was it the Duke of Grafton, and who was I think he was originally like the bastard son of King Charles II or something, and these people, and he owned a lot of land, and quite often, and that land was very big, so you often see streets named after him.
Yeah.
And I keep going up, and the same person seems to pop up over again. So I'm developing this sort of knowledge without really.
Right. Yeah.
It's like doing a tour. I tried to do one of those. Sorry, I keep straying from the microphone. My back hurts. I tried to do one of those blue badge guides, but there was a massive waiting list for something like 2 years,
really,
to become a blue badge tour guide. And I thought, well, because I was selling kites on the Millennium Bridge,
but
I needed something else to do, so I had to. So I luckily the videos started doing well, but I thought that I'd have to do tour guides.
Oh, sorry, did you want to say?
That was just going to say. So this is something that you've been thinking. Well, this is something that you wanted to do, not sort of.
Well, I want to be on TV. I mean, that's why I never wanted to be a YouTuber. I never wanted to be a tour guide. But, I'm getting older, and, I was selling kites on the Millennium Bridge for 15 years. And
so you're waiting for something, and preferably on screen.
Well, yeah, I was doing a lot of like castings and auditions and
blind date.
And I just blind date, yeah. And I wanted to send in some show reels to people, so I started making the videos.
Right.
Okay.
And then I, it turned out that the videos were actually started to do quite well, and I was looking at it as the police were closing in on the kite selling, and I decided that it was
You're
getting
like the
quite
mafia
tough.
don. I better get out of the industry.
The kite selling racket.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't only me; it was all of us. All the people who sold things around there were having a bit of trouble. I was there for 15 years. So,
the laws were tightening around you.
Yeah, there was nowhere to run, literally. There used to be places to run, but then they changed it, and they'd come and get us from both sides. So I thought, well, what can I do? I need a job, So I had already started doing YouTube videos, and I just thought, well, look, maybe I'll just offer to do some tours.
Right.
And I started offering doing tours, and people kept asking to do them. I couldn't believe it. Now I get too many people asking. I can't really do many now. Because
when was your first video then? What you'd class as the first Joolz Guides video?
Joolz Guides video. Yeah, it must have been around 5 years ago. I mean, but they were like, I started by doing 2-minute ones because everyone said, no, 2 minutes is what you need. Brevity. It's got to be 2 minutes. So I started doing these mini ones. And I think I did one about the Lamb and Flag pub in Covent Garden, where they did a jazz night there. I did one about that. A whole bunch of them, actually, I did together. But that was the first London one. I mean, before that, I made a documentary about an island in the Pacific called Pitcairn Island. It was my best piece of work, actually. It took me 3 years to make that.
Wow.
Did you have any filmmaker training?
No.
No editing training?
No. What happened was I was in an island called Mangareva in Tahiti, trying to wait for a boat to take me to Pitcairn. Hence the name, take me to Pitcairn. I did have some kites with me.
Just in case.
And
a pack of cards.
There was a lovely guy called Maurice, and he sort of saw me there. He came, what are you doing? And I went, I'm making a documentary about Pitcairn. And he just thought I was a fool because he said, you're not doing it right. You're just hopeless. And he goes, look, I'll help you with this. So he helped me make the documentary, and we became good friends. And he really helped me. He did a lot of the editing for it. But then after about 2.5 years, I said to him, listen, we've got to finish this documentary because this is my future. What I'm talking about. It didn't matter to him. He had a job, but I said, no, I've got to do this. And he said, well, listen, I'll tell you what, I'll give the film to you, but and you can do what you want with it, but you have to learn to edit. So I said, all right, bloody hell. So I better learn to edit. So I had to teach myself.
You've shocked me the fact that you've just explained to me that you're actually filmmaking and that all that. I was thinking it's just you, but I don't know a lot about. But the fact that you say no, that's carefully edited all that down to make it what it is, rather than it does look off the cuff, like you've done it perfectly.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is,
because I would never. You don't never see the seams in it, if you know what I mean. That's great editing.
Yeah, because I like to make films.
Yeah,
I don't think they look. Well, it's just my style. There's nothing wrong with it. Other people do vlogging style, and that's fine. And Simon loves watching those things, and and I've seen a few of them as well. I don't generally watch YouTube myself.
Right,
It's not for me. I like watching TV, which is probably why I like to make the things feel like more like TV programs.
Right.
But, that's all.
No, I'm trying to get a bigger compliment because it's amazed me that you say no. I'm not a know-it-all. It's just well edited. Because
it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. No, but it's like when you said filmmaker, I thought, you're crafting something.
Well, I mean, the music, for example, if you listen to the music, it's
by the way, you're
faded in, it's faded out.
The fact that you're bringing back folk music and it's great. Like, you don't hear that anywhere else and it not being that's great. When I hear folk music coming on yours, it works.
Well, I mean, my sister writes some of those songs,
heard,
but I mean, a lot of, as anyone who does YouTube will know, you probably know that, with music, you get a lot of trouble if you use music.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So I'd love to be able to use Michael Jackson or something, and stick a David Bowie track behind my
Beatles songs.
Yeah, but you just can't. So
okay. So it was necessity.
Well, that's why. Yeah, no. I mean, ideally, I'd use Coldplay or whatever.
No, because it works. It works. Well, it makes you different as well.
No, I would use whatever is appropriate. But for example, I can't use "Streets of London" by Ralph McTell or whatever his name is. I can't.
130th Street or
any song. Usually, when you're doing a video about an area, I mean, I did a video about Brixton. I mean, the natural thing to do is to use "Rock Down to Electric Avenue" by Eddie Grant. Is it Eddie Grant?
Yeah,
Eddie Grant.
God, yeah.
But I couldn't do that, so I had to. So I just said, to my sister, "Can you write a song that sounds a bit like it?"
Whenever I see the folk music popping up, I think that works. The whole thing. I mean, if you've said bowler hat, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put a bowler hat. You go, don't do that. But it works, and everything you've done works, and it clicks, and it's fantastic.
You're being very kind.
No, because I know in my head what I don't, the amount of stuff I don't watch, and how much I do watch your stuff, and what I've learned.
Well, that's kind.
Like, the amount of stuff I learned and I think I'm just going to watch it. And I think, oh, God,
I know. That's because
I
I'd research it. I mean, I don't see the point in making a video otherwise. I can't. For me, I might as well not bother if it's not going to be good. And if it's not going to be of use, then what's the point? I'm beyond. They're not about me. That's the difference. That's the thing. I'm not trying to say, "Hey, everyone, look at me."
No, you're a character
guys.
in the show.
It's sort of like a character, I suppose.
That's
why I'm not really like
when
that.
you talk to the locals. I always like it when the local just pops up and says something.
A bit of me comes out.
Yeah. But it was anyway. So I'm amazed that it's your lack of training in the area. That's the thing, because I've said this before when I've been on film sets and things, and people that have been doing nothing but training, and you go, I don't know anything, and I know that you don't know what you're doing. And I've literally been there trying to tell them stuff, where they don't want to know. But it's amazing that you have no experience in that, but training in that, I should say. Do you ever go back to places like you realise? Because you've done enough now. Because I keep looking and thinking it's going to run out of places soon.
Well, recently. No, I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to run out of places, because the good thing is that I do places like Tottenham. I mean, there's not that many, especially guidebooks and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what amazed me when I saw. I thought, the guide to Tottenham.
Well, the weird thing is, it's really that's one of my favourite ones. I mean, it's such an interesting place. I mean, that place like that, Deptford, I loved. Deptford was really interesting.
A lot of history.
Crystal Palace, I really liked. There was some really cool places which are a bit further afield. Forgot. Do I go back to places? Well, I recently went back to Covent Garden because the first.
Oh right, yeah. So I thought you must have done that before, but I didn't see.
Well, a lot of the places, when I first started doing them, I just did them very kind of. Well, I'm better now. I'm better at making films now. I've had more. I've got a better camera. Yeah. I've got better, technique. I just look a bit older. That's the problem. I'm all grey and
I can
grizzled.
See you,
it's terrible.
I can see you sort of evolving. I can see you with a look at when you hit 60 or 70, having it in like a cape or something, and you'd get away with it. Cape. And you could have one of the canes, with the chrome thing, and you should get to an age where you don't have to knock it in, where you just use the cane. Even in Tesco's, just turn up with your hat and just knock the door.
Well, I do go back to. I mean, I'm going back to, so for example, I'm doing Kentish Town pretty soon.
Nice.
And it will include little bits, because the early videos, what I used to do was I'd make these short videos about places. But they're now very handy because it means that when I revisit that whole area, now I do the whole area and it takes like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And so rather than me having to remember all the stuff and talk about it, I just go, as I mentioned in vintage Joolz Guides, and I do a flashback to my 2-minute video. I pop that into the middle, and it's very handy. I quite like it.
What was your first place you did? What, I can't remember.
Well, the Lamb and Flag.
What area? What's that area?
That's in Covent Garden. Yeah.
Oh, Covent Garden was the first. The first Joolz Guide video.
It was just a 2-minute video about a single pub called the Lamb and Flag.
But what was your first guide to the area?
Oh God! Well, I don't know. They gradually started getting a bit longer. That was all. I don't know.
It wasn't a sharp. It was
it was a gradual thing. People kept saying, "Oh, why don't you make them longer? Why don't you make them longer?" And I was finding, I'm quite verbose. I talk quite a lot, and every now and again, I'm not just name dropping, but as I did in my latest video. But Woody Harrelson, funnily enough,
right.
I was in the pub around the corner there. It was the Lansdowne pub around there with Woody Harrelson. Would you believe?
Oh, okay. Who just hanging with your friends? Yeah.
Well,
Primrose Hill's up the road.
He does recognise me, which is well. I mean, the last time I saw him, I was about 60% sure that he had recognised me, but actually it's because he was completely stoned. He was running up the stairs here at Short Farm. I bumped into him. I went, "Hey, Woody, remember we used to play football, Julian?" And he went, "Hey, Jules, yeah, how's it going?"
What do you mean you used to play football?
I only know him because we played football in Regent's Park about 10 years ago. It must have been 15 years ago. We used to play every weekend.
Team?
Just us, our mates. We used to play every Sunday in Regent's Park, and he came along one day with a mate of his. He was in a show in the West End.
Oh, right. So he was
and he was staying in Camden, and he came by and asked if he could play, and I was taking the piss of him the whole time, going, "Hey, Woody, pass the ball." And at half time he said, "Hey, Jules, why'd you keep saying Woody to me like that in a stupid way?" And I said, "Well, because you look like that guy Woody Harrelson, off the poster for White Men Can't Jump." Oh, no. And it turned out it was him. I hadn't seen him in anything. I didn't used to watch Cheers. So
I like that you met him and you're like, "You really look like that. You really look like that chap Woody Harrelson." And he's like, "Well, because I am." It's like,
but he played with us for the whole summer, and then and so we kind of got to know him. And then every now and again he does pop back to London. I don't know if he stays in the same place, but it was on one of those occasions I bumped into him on the stairs there, and then later on I saw him outside the pub, and he said, "Oh, come sit down." So I sat down with him, and he said to me, "Oh, I did watch some of your videos," because I'd given him my card, and I was convinced he didn't remember who I was, but he said, "No, I did watch them," and he just said, "Oh, Jules, you should try and be a bit more funny in your videos."
No, how long ago was this?
That was it must have been about 4 years ago, because. Yeah, it must have been about.
Out, I suppose.
Yeah, it must have been 4 or 3 years ago, something like that. Because I'd done a few of them, but also he said, "Oh, try and be a bit more funny, try and make them a bit longer." And I thought, well, he should know. So I tried to, and in order to try and be a bit more funny, you've got to sort of tell a few anecdotes. So it had to naturally be a bit longer. I'm not giving him all the credit, but yeah, and it gave me the opportunity to drop that name as well.
Great story, yeah.
Oh, so is he still in the area then? Or was that just for
the
West End?
I think he lives in Hawaii, doesn't he? I think at the time there must have been a place nearby that he was renting when he came to London. I don't know if he does every time. It so happened on 2 occasions I saw him around this area. Right.
He does. He has filmed quite a few things around London. Every now and then I see him in the papers or whatever. He does just spend a bit of time in London here and there.
I'm surprised he's done theatre. I wouldn't have thought that would be his thing.
He was in
proper actor.
He's good. I'll
never forget it. I love reading that story because when I meet a celebrity does something nice, and I was working as a delivery driver for delivering sofas, and I can't remember his name. Zach. Oh God, who's the baddie in Titanic? Zach.
Oh no,
the main guy, black hair.
Yeah, bless him.
Come on,
doesn't have that black hair anymore.
No.
What's his name?
Doesn't matter. You better move on, otherwise it's just 3 blokes trying to and around on the radio.
Ruin the story if you don't know who the celebrity is. Oh, come on! Have you got your phone?
What's his name?
Who put this cast? Everyone knows his name. The cast of Titanic.
Yeah, he's in Titanic. I know some guy who did the film with him. And he said he's a really nice guy, really really cool guy. So.
No, I've got to get it out of the way. I mean, this is terrible audio, but...
Well, you'll have to edit it out.
No, but this is part of it. The silliness is the part of it.
Well, meanwhile, we can just discuss something else.
Yeah, we've got to go a pack of
Move
cards.
on, yeah.
Let's just play 21.
Anyway, let's move on.
Hang on, here we go. Who's it? I don't know. Fella. I haven't really actually seen Titanic.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane, that's it. Billy Zane. Anyway, so I was delivering some like furniture. I can't remember what company it was for. And we went round. It's like Soho, something like that. Chucking it down, and it was the first delivery we had in the winter. So it was like 7 a.m. as we arrived, and it was chucking down, pitch black. And we pulled up outside, and there's this. It's like a little door. I was like, oh Jesus Christ! I hate it when you have to, because as soon as you got to Soho, everything's small. You want to deliver furniture like Essex, where all the doors are wide. So we get to Soho, tiny little door. Sofa's got to go up to the 4th floor, and it's 2-parter. So the guy opens it, and I didn't have a TV. I didn't watch TV. I didn't know who anyone was. And the guy I was with went, "That's Billy. What was it, Zane?"
Billy Zane. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a musician or something. He went, "Oh yeah." I said, "Yeah, don't say anything." And yeah, anyway, so we went up, came down, and he went, "Are you Billy Zane?" And I remember thinking, "You stupid pillock, like you stupid. What a stupid thing to say." He's like, "Leave him alone." Anyway, so we went, yeah, blah. I'm doing something in the theatre. Now, I don't know if I can legally say this, but when we got up to it, was a bloody spiral staircase as well to get up to the 4th floor. So every step was a nightmare. Got it up, went into the bedroom, and there was a woman in there. And it's only now thinking back, and I haven't got any leg to stand on because it might not have been. I'm sure it's Penelope Cruz looking back. Because at the time, I remember thinking, I recognise her, but she said that general look. It's only years later I thought, I'm sure that was her. Because she had the thing up and she went, "Hi, how are you?" He
did date lots of
maybe,
lots of.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, if they did a play together, then it was definitely, because that's what he was there for. But anyway, when we left, we went back down the stairs. 20% of the time you get a tip, you usually don't. We came back down and we're putting all the rubbish in the back of the van. And he came down and he said, "Hi guys, I just want to give you a tip." And he pulled out his wallet and he went, "Oh, damn, I haven't got money." He said, "Can you take me around the corner?" And you're doing the polite thing of going, no, it's all right, don't worry about it. It's the first thing in the morning. He went, no, there's a cash machine just around here. So we jumped in and we drove round and went to this thing. Must have been about 30 seconds away. And he went out the cash machine and he came back and he gave us 100 quid.
Nice.
And like 50 quid each.
Yeah.
And I'm talking 15 years ago. And then he put his cap on in the rain and just started walking back. And I'm thinking, wow, I just made I was going to say I made a note of his name, but clearly didn't. But it was the fact that he just came round to the driver's went and he just went, "Yeah, that's it." And I thought, and he just put the cap on and said, "Have not," and he just walked back in the heavy rain.
Yeah.
I thought, I never forgot that as a mark of character, no matter what he did in the future.
Probably had a few other coats back indoors.
I should have said it before your one, though. That's the problem. Your one was better. Football, you're Woody. You look like Woody.
It's okay.
Have you got any more celebrity anecdotes while you're here? You must have bumped into...
Yeah, my mum seems to have quite a few. I'm always mentioning things about my mum,
right?
But I don't really want to go into it. She seems to have had a lot of blokes back in the 50s and 60s who asked her out,
stories.
who were quite famous, who asked her out. I think amongst whom one was Peter Ustinov, I discovered recently.
Oh, okay.
And John Hurt was definitely one of them.
Oh,
the ex-conservative leader, Michael Howard. Was it?
She wasn't an actress or anything.
No, she wasn't. There was a few. Oh, the Richard Rogers, the famous architect who. And what did he do?
He's got a lot of stories.
He's quite famous.
Did she tell you all these stories?
Yeah.
Or was she saying the names?
No. She told me what happened. The one with. No, I'm not going to say.
She could probably sink half of Hollywood if she wrote a book.
No, it's only about 5 or so. The one with John Hurt was quite amusing. She met him in a pub down in the Dirty Dicks. In Spitalfields,
I don't know.
Opposite Liverpool Street. And back in those days, it actually did used to be a really filthy place, and they used to do this skiffle music there. Anyway, he asked her back to his place.
Oh,
and they were about to, and she was interested as well. She went back, and there was another woman in his room,
yeah.
and so she sort of got the hell out of there quickly.
Yeah, fair enough.
You couldn't do that back then. Nowadays,
well,
in the street,
I don't know.
None of them were famous though back in those days.
I don't have enough energy for an extra person, to be honest. I don't know. I got barely enough energy for one person to
once
with.
Netflix
2 or
was
3,
invented,
and it's just like, oh god, I don't know where to start.
Do you have you lived in Camden a long time?
I've all my life.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm from Camden.
Oh wow. You're a sort of staple of. You're a lauded. You must be now around Camden. Do you have to dress down? That's the mark of a celebrity. You have to dress down not to be seen. Must be.
It is, funnily enough. It's been like the last 6 months or so has now become actually quite unusual. Yeah, I get
fame. The flames of fame.
Well, I mean, it's not accompanied with the money. I mean, it's all right for Elton John. He gets stopped right left and centre. He's a millionaire, but I get stopped all the time now. If I wear the hat,
forget
it. If I'm wearing the hat,
so because you'll see that from 100 yards away.
Tomorrow, I'm doing a walk for some people, and you know what happened last week was because it's around the West End, you just get stopped so much.
But you've got none of the benefits.
Fine. It's fine if I'm. Yeah. You know, if I'm with other people and it makes me look cool, you know, if I'm with a beautiful lady and someone comes up to me and goes, "Oh, Jules, I think you're amazing," and I'm trying to show you. See,
love the videos. Yeah.
But except what happens is if I'm with a beautiful lady, no one ever stops me.
Right. Yeah.
And then when I'm on my own, I get people.
Well, they're probably
to me
just being polite.
No, you know, it's not. It's nice. They're always really lovely people, and I'm flattered that they like the videos. But it's funny because they quite often they seem really starstruck. And I just kind of unusual because I'm just a guy who makes YouTube videos, and they're like, you're that, and they don't quite know what to say sometimes. Like, you're that guy, aren't you? You him? Are you that guy? And I'm like, well, I'm that.
I am a man.
That's what you mean.
I have to say, when I first met you, just coming up the stairs, I was a bit like, he's the guy off YouTube.
There you go.
And I was a bit like, I've seen him on a screen.
I would love to have a video of you, right? Just so that we'll put you in a bar and have a video camera on you, and then just stand there looking at, and then just put the hat on. And just watch everyone turn.
No, you know, amazingly, during the lockdown, I was on the tube and I wasn't wearing a hat. I'm bald, so you know, I'm completely bald, and I wear the hat not because I'm ashamed of being bald. It's because I've got a small head, and I look like a little Mekon. Well, with a hat on, I look more.
You had a hat on in blind date.
I'm always wearing a hat because my head's so small. I wasn't bald back then. I'm always wearing a hat. I've got a tiny head, like bloody Close Encounters of the Third Kind type.
But you do know that doesn't exist. That's not real. That's in your head. Well, it's in your.
Anyway, look, this isn't a discussion about that. My point.
We should just cut.
My point was, I wasn't wearing a hat, which makes me harder to recognise.
Right, yeah.
And I was wearing a mask because I was on the tube.
Okay, yeah.
And I was wearing just normal clothes. And yet this guy came up to me, he was a policeman actually, still recognised me. I go for drinks with him now.
Okay. The height though, that's the thing as well. That's going to add into it, the height.
Well, yeah, but except people don't realise I'm so tall. When they're watching the videos, whenever people come up to me in the street, they go, "Oh my God, you're so much." I'm 6'6".
Yeah, because normally you're just on a little screen, like on a phone.
Usually I'm like Minnie Mouse running around.
So I stand next to somebody. You know, you're in a very. I mean, it's lovely. When you asked me to come here, I was going to tell you to off, but no, I wasn't.
I was hoping that the Camden thing would have paid off. If it was outside London, I don't think it would have worked.
No. I listened to what you did, and I thought you sounded legit, and it was nearby. But then when you said it was in this building, I just thought, well, you know, funny enough, I mean, I've talked about this building in one of my videos. I mean, I didn't
know you were talking about this building. I know the kebab shop over the road.
Right, yeah. If you watch the Primrose Hill video, this actually was this was actually the first pub in the area, I think.
This was a pub?
Yeah, used to be a pub called the Adelaide, I think. It was the first one when they first started developing this area, I believe. Like I say, my facts are a little bit sketchy these days. So I forget the facts, but the trams from central London used to get on a tram. And they used to. So the reason why there's this big kind of opening here in front, it's at an angle here.
Wherever we are,
it's because they used to. Yeah, sorry, we're outside. We're outside the Enterprise. Park.
Secrets.
Telling people don't.
Yeah. Well, it's just where you. This is where the trams used to turn around.
Yeah, because it's a funny shape.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why there's such a big space there. The trams, because they couldn't go up the hill to Hampstead because it would be
a gradient.
Yeah. So. It was a good place for this pub, and so I like going there. I
went to Devon a while ago.
Sorry, just to say, over the road there is where the Winchester Club is from mine. Arthur Daly at the beginning of mine.
Yeah.
That's just next to the Chalk Farm station, just a few doors up, where they used to have a few shops.
Oh, God,
Okay.
right.
That's in one of the in one of the episodes. Or
Yes. If you were born here, you've seen a lot of things. So you naturally would know about the area anyway. I thought it was all just learned.
Right. Well, no, around here, I mean, I know quite a bit anyway.
Right.
But yeah, that's quite. I like Minder and the Sweeney. So yeah.
If you're over 70 years old and you're enjoying the show,
Hell,
if you hear the music for any of those things, it does something to you, doesn't it?
I rewatched
I remember a joke. It was it was one of Steve Coogan's things, and because he referenced Minder, it was out of the blue. It just made me laugh because he was in one. I can't even remember what character it was. It might have been Partridge or somebody else, and they were going to play some sport, and he said, "Nothing dangerous." And he went, "Oh, how about snooker?" And he went, "Snooker's dangerous." And he went, "No, it's not." He went, "Have you ever seen Minder?" And the fact that he just referenced the fact that people get the shit kicked out of them with a stick. Can you have? I don't really see pool halls anymore, do you?
They're about.
A lot of the snooker clubs are closing down. I mean, I'm always talking about them because Simon and I both like playing snooker.
Oh.
And there used to be that one, I mean, in my most recent video, if you haven't seen it, about St. Giles, just underneath Centrepoint Tower, at the end of Oxford Street.
Okay.
There used to be a snooker club underneath there. There used to be one just in Delancey Street up the road there.
Yeah.
Which I used to go to, and whenever you came out of there, you always used to smell of fried eggs. There's something about it, snooker halls. And then there was a few. Well, there's the one that I quite like called the Cousins one, which is actually on Seven Sisters Road, just at the junction with Holloway Road.
Yeah.
That's really good. I like it there.
And what is it to get in? Is it a members club?
Well, they pretty. Pretty
lenient.
You just show up, and I think you can pay a day rate, but you might as well join, because it's usually not that expensive.
£1.50 for the membership.
I used to go to them. I didn't play snooker, but I used to go because they used to be like 24-hour, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's just some place to go. Like,
and they do
have
have pool tables as well.
Yeah.
Did they sell alcohol in them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
they
great.
did.
They're great places, but that's the only one I really know now. I suppose there's still one in King's Cross. It's a bit more snazzy. I like the kind of ones like in Minder, where they probably film
low hanging lights and
exactly.
Smoky, even though no one's smoking.
And a room at these massive rooms. I mean, you get about 20 full size snooker.
Now you'd have to have a sort of a fake smoke being pumped out just to give it the atmosphere.
The smell, and fried egg smell, obviously.
It's got that real musty kind of 70s smell to it. They always have. I don't think there's anything they can do about it.
You don't see that many pools in or snooker tables in pubs. I wonder, is it because it gives off the wrong impression? Do you know what I mean?
I expect it's just room. They want more tables.
They want more table. They've probably,
But then why didn't they want them before? Why would they want?
I don't want to moan about things, but let me start moaning.
Go for it.
That's what I'm really like. Is that everything is changing, and it's all probably something to do with health and safety. Oh God, and no one's got cash anymore. We're probably not allowed to.
Right.
I just went down to the Camden before I came here, and I was in that. They've opened up that new bit. Where there was a fire recently. A few years ago, and Camden Market burnt down.
Yeah.
I know that.
Just the bit on the left as you go up from Chalk Farm towards Camden. When you reach the canal, the Humpback Bridge on the right, you've got the market. On the left, just behind the Hawley Arms, there's a part of the market which burnt down, and they've only just opened it up again. And so I thought I'd go and check it out there. And there was these people sort of on stools there, and I was thinking, it's the lockdown time just finishing, people trying to make money, and I went down there and they said you couldn't pay with cash, and I just said to them, that's so ridiculous. What do you mean? What if my mum comes down here? You mean she can't come here?
I mean, it's legal tender. Can you even say that?
I thought that it was the law. When I was working in Hamleys, you used to have to be able to take cash. I thought that either that or you had to take the items off sale. I think it was something like that. I can't remember, But then, just as I was standing there, just moaning, they were saying to me, "Oh, look, it's not our fault. It's the way the market works. Right. So we're paid by the market to be here, and I can't remember how it works anyway." But the guy from the market came down, happened to be there at the time, and he was asking if anyone had given any feedback, and I went, "Well, I've got some feedback actually. I think you should allow people to pay with cash here." And then he went into a long, complicated
health thing. Does it is coronavirus thing?
It just makes it easy. I suppose it means that people can't, I suppose it means that they can't take money without paying it to the market or whatever.
Oh, right.
I expect they take a cut, maybe. Don't they?
Well, that's what the Stringfellas, you have the Stringfellow money, didn't you? You can't use your own money. You have to buy the money, so they know where all the money's going, all the tips are going.
That's how casinos work. Yeah.
I like tradition, though. You know, I don't see, and also cash is useful. Tourists. What if the electronic stuff stops working?
Yeah.
What if your phone
all your money's
doesn't
gone?
work?
Hacking.
Yeah. I don't.
Nobody can hack your pocket.
I don't like it. So that sort of thing earns my contempt. But
I never forget being in a church. The only time I've always tried to be polite, but no matter where, and the only time I can remember looking back and doing something slightly rude, which I was forced into, was in a church. Oh yeah. Well, because I'm not getting into all the church.
I'm not sure if I want to hear this once.
No, but I was dating somebody.
It didn't involve choir boys, did it?
All right. I went to I was dating somebody in America that went to a church, and I knew I was there for the week, and I knew that they went to the church every Sunday.
So it was an American church.
Yeah. And I thought, well, before they have to say to me, look, I go every Sunday. Do you want to? I thought I'll just be polite and I'll make out like it's an experience for me before they say anything, because I know I'm going to be there when they usually go to church every week. So I said, oh, you going to the church thing? Oh, yeah, I might come along, blah, blah. And I shouldn't have done that, because when I went back the second time, because I was dating them, they then said, oh, we're going to this other church that I can bring you to. And I thought, I did the first one out of politeness. So don't bring me along to the second. And the first one was like a Pentecostal church. They were all singing and it was like an experience. So that it served its purpose. The second one was a small place up in the Malibu Hills. And it was a bit weird. And it was weird that like a lot of the people you talked to weren't like nutters. They go like, oh, he's an actor. His wife, she's a stunt woman for that film. I thought, oh, anyway. But when it came to handing like the money at the end, like you pass the till round, there was actually a PDQ machine, and I watched it come round like a machine to put your card in, the direct debit thing and all that, and just seeing that was like, surely that's a joke. Like, how can you? I was watching it being passed around this machine.
How long ago was this?
10 years.
Stop whacking your hands on the table. They can't get the star.
A filmmaker
keeps whacking his hand on the table. He's the one.
Yeah.
No, it's part of the
and the
atmosphere.
rings as well.
Oh,
the rings. It's when the rings click.
Oh right, okay. It's his trademark, is it?
Yeah.
But to think like to watch a machine. It's give money. I'd give money anyway.
Well, like in Covent Garden, for example, when you're watching a stage show in Covent Garden, all the performers now have to have these little machines for people to cut. Yeah, because a lot of people don't carry the cash anymore.
Yeah.
So some of them are putting in cash, but just the you know what just earns my wrath. Just everything, all the charm is being removed from everything you do now.
Yeah.
I mean, there was something charming about a guy with a hat and throwing money into the hat, and then at the end you can count the money. Yeah. It's so sanitized and boring now, and also. Sometimes buskers have those machines, don't they? So they say, oh, just tap your card here to donate £2. Well, what if I don't want to give £2? What if I want to give £1? What if I want to give you 50p? All
just
these
a couple of pennies. Yeah, a bit of a few 2p's.
Yeah.
I mean, they will still take that, obviously, but it's just the
you're watching a tear in society take place in front of you.
It's happening, and there's nothing I can do about it.
No, you're right.
I'm just an old git, and I just prefer the old ways.
My local shop has a thing, and they say every time I use my card, they say, "Would you like to donate 25p to charity?"
Oh, I've noticed that.
And I felt really bad for a very long time clicking no, and now I don't feel bad. And I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, I get annoyed at the question. Really bad. Yeah.
If it was like a couple of p's, I'd be like,
Tesco's
well, it's just like every time I'm using it. And I feel bad. If it was like because I used to give the penny. I always used to, something was 99p, 98p. I always used to put the penny or 2p because I'm like, I don't want it in my pocket. Can't be bothered to carry it. Well,
it's not a question of whether you're being stingy or not. That's what I don't like, is the fact that they're making you feel it. Even worse than that is when they say an optional donation of £2 has been added to your bill. If you for charity, this has definitely happened to me.
Yeah.
If you do not wish to donate this to go, please inform the waiter, and they can remove it from the bill.
Put the pressure on you.
So, exactly. So basically, I have to sound like an arsehole in order to say, "Excuse me, I'm an arsehole. Yeah. Can you remove this because I'm an arsehole?"
That too good for starving kids. Yeah, get rid of it. Yeah.
They shouldn't put you in that position.
Well, that's outrageous to say. Well, I mean, even a tip. The tip shouldn't be on the receipt anyway. I'll give it because you have to tip twice. Like you've got to give something at the end.
I don't mind the tip being included as long as they don't get offended if you don't leave anything extra.
But that's what I mean. You're sort of you have to leave something. And if it's already included, you can't
If
automatically.
it's included, isn't it?
Yeah, but you still.
They've already added on 12%.
Oh, but you're happy. You will. That's all right for you, is it? That you do it. I can't. I have to leave something.
I'll give it to the person. I do because when you have it inclusive, then you're never sure whether.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Some places.
The person that served.
Then you're paying an extra. Then you're paying like sort of about an extra 24%.
Well, the other this happened a while ago, but I did actually get it removed, and then I gave it to the person because I was just like,
yeah, but that's my reason. I have to give it to the person I've seen.
It was a long process, and they were really confused.
We sound like Mr. Pink out of Reservoir Dogs now. Don't tip in McDonald's.
Yeah, let's go to work.
Right, so go back to the Joolz Guides. I think I've been calling you Jules since you arrived here.
Jules?
Yeah.
That's what my some friends call me. Or you can call me Julian if you like.
I've been calling you your stage name.
Well, no, I mean, it's a kind of...
If you hit 1 million subscribers...
Julian does get abbreviated to Jules, so it's okay. Yeah.
If you hit 1 million subscribers, are you just going to give in to it and just become the character? Are you just going to change your name legally? Go, look, I am the now that I've found my character.
Well, no, people do call me that. I mean, my friends do call me that.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the guides. But,
the guide, no, the funny thing is when people come up to me and they go, oh, you Jules Guides?
Yeah,
and I said, well, no, Guides is not my surname. Guides is the name of the channel.
I think that's what I fell into. I thought, well, I think you should change the name to Guide because then you could say, my name's Guide, Jules Guide.
It's
and get out of my way and move them with your cane and flick your cape. I think we should bring. Do you think we should bring back capes?
I think it's a brave man that does.
I bought my mum a cape for her birthday last week. Yeah, a few weeks ago.
What colour was it? It was not a black silk sort
of. Kind of grey. I bought it in Serbia.
Right, it wasn't a Count Dracula type.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like an opera cape. Yeah. It was more of a kind of.
Yeah, you got to have a little gold chain across the thing.
And it was one of those, milkmaids sort of out on the hills.
If you got a sneeze, you do the Dracula thing. The amount of things you can do with a cape, you can
wear it.
No, you can say a lot. Like if you're annoyed and you want to walk out the room, you can sort of flick it, and they get the idea.
That's true.
Or if you want to fight, you sort of.
It's like having a tail, I suppose. If you like, it's like being a cat and having a tail. You can, you could
perform magic tricks with it, and also perhaps lay it down over a puddle for a lady to walk over. But other than that,
be a proper gentleman. Yeah,
yeah. As the carriage pulls up, it won't be long before the world of golden carriages.
I must say that I'm flattered that you like my video because to be honest with you, my videos are pretty much, let's face it, white middle-class bloke in his 40s pointing at buildings that aren't there anymore, talking about dead people, and occasionally mentioning Columbo and like having obsession with the Sweeney and things like this. So it's a kind of dated, weird old bloke just walking around pointing at things, sort of making the odd quip.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking yes, and yes.
I know, and that's what's nice about it is that you'd be amazed because I'm talking to a couple of cool blimies here, frankly. You sound like a good...
You've got a better impression of me than you should have. But
a good Essex boy. Are you from Essex?
No.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were from Essex. You kept going on about it.
No, it's just... Well, I have lived in Essex.
All right, yeah, but you just sort of ordinary salt-of-the-earth blokes, and this is the sort of person that watches the... So sometimes I'll have someone very, well-to-do, posh, sort of, I love your videos. And sometimes I've got 90-year-olds watching them, being really... And then I got all these... A lot of Geordies seem to watch. I had a couple of guys, a couple of Mackhams from like Sunderland shipbuilders, proper salt-of-the-earth, kind of quite hard, tough lads. Like, actually, sure, sir, out in London. Like, and I just thought, this is weird. You're watching this stupid posh twit, like... talking about these things, and yet it appeals to all these people. So that's quite refreshing and nice to see. I'm pleased.
You've not let me talk about your channel as much as I wanted to, because the fact is, like I said, I had no interest in that sort of thing at all. I didn't. I'm doing other things. It's not my world, learning about London and all that.
Yeah.
And bit by bit, the amount of stuff I didn't know that when you got street names, it's usually because the family owned the bloody thing at some point somewhere.
Yes, more often than not, it's because the plot of land was owned by people. I mean, all the stuff around here, Eton Rise over there, is because Eton School owned the whole area.
They own land. They own land everywhere, don't they? Yeah. They got land in Ireland.
But it's not like, oh well, I like the Tottenham one or I like the thingy one. your style works everywhere, and you can't make that up. That's accidental. The fact that everything comes together and works properly.
Well,
I
think I'm quite. I think I'm quite engaging. I mean, personally, that's why I wanted. No, but I honestly, that's why I wanted to do the sort of this sort of thing. Is why I wanted to be on TV originally. Is because I actually thought that I have an ability. I don't have very many abilities for various things, but I thought one of the things I'm quite good at is telling a story and being relatable and making something that's relatively dull sound quite interesting. And
that's not enough credit to you, because
picking stuff that resonates with people. That's the thing. There's a whole lot of stuff you can say about this street here, but the key is to try and pick up things that people will find interesting. So, I'll look through a whole lot of stuff and think, okay, well, that's boring. Oh, wait a minute, they filmed James Bond down there. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, there's a prostitute got murdered over here, or all these sorts of things. I don't know why prostitution always features so much
highly
in
first
my
three. But it's not. You're underplaying it again, because if you've got like who did Time Team? What's his name?
Tony Robinson.
Yeah, if he did it and he had the research and all that, it still wouldn't work. I wouldn't watch 5 minutes of it. It is in fact, you talking about the like there's no theatre around anything anymore, and you having the bowler hat and the thing and carrying yourself in the way you do.
Well, that's nice.
Because it fits you, if you see what I mean.
Well, I like bowler hats, and I like them. I mean, it's just I just thought it's a good idea when you've got so many people doing things. It's a good idea to try and stand out in some way initially.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know, adds some gravitas
and
to
it.
If you're just wearing a t-shirt and jeans, it just there's something about it that make just your people won't necessarily give you the same respect. They will if you're Tony Robinson, because he's famous. People know who he is, but no one knows who I am. So I have to try and sort of show in some way, or dress smart in some way.
But I think a lot of your thing, I mean, you're saying, I do this and do that. It's accidental that it all comes together. I think it's so many things that come together, which is why it works. And it's sort of a compliment to you and not a compliment, because it's accidental. But it all works. The editing is great.
I suspect it's grown, hasn't it? I suspect it's developed.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I've definitely, I've noticed things which I think work and things which don't work. And I just like to. I watch them myself as well. By the way, I watch them a great deal of times when I'm editing them, and I'll watch it back and I'll watch it back. And the thing is that if there's anything, like I say, if there's anything that's boring, I'll take it out. So hence, if you take out everything that's boring, then according to Sherlock Holmes, you eliminate the well. So I eliminate the boring and the uninteresting, and then what you're left with is only stuff that isn't. And it's a flow. You have to have a kind of.
When you did the Jules, the turkey one, I thought, he's busted out finally. He's broken free.
I'm so glad someone watched that, because that was actually quite interesting.
Kerem watched it, as I sent it to Kerem, and he said, that lady really knows what she's talking about food. Like, it's Kerem's Turkish.
I've pulled out my so and so. Could you put that in for me again? Yeah. When
did you do the turkey one? When did you actually film it?
That was during the first lockdown.
Okay.
I went out there for a film festival there, and that was in Cappadocia. And then I just thought, well, look, this is one thing that's kind of annoying about YouTube, is that you have to keep on uploading stuff. If you stop uploading things, then your channel dies. So
it messes up the algorithm or something.
Well, that's why so many people have so many more followers than me. One of the reasons is that they're able to upload something every week.
Oh, wow.
If I uploaded a video of the quality that I make every week, I'd probably have 1 million subscribers by now. But they take so long to make.
Right, yeah.
You can't, because I'm doing it all on my own as well. I mean, it would take a whole production team to make something like that, and it wouldn't necessarily be as good either. And in 3 weeks, are you kidding? It's so difficult to do them. Seriously, I'm working at it every hour God sends. So when I went out, sorry to carry on, but when I went out to Turkey, I just thought, well, I have to upload something, so I'm not in London, so I better film something here. But as it happened, I was in Turkey. I went up in a hot air balloon. I went to Gallipoli. I went to Ephesus. I went to Troy. I went to all these amazing places. And
who's the lady you went with? The Turkish lady, the Asian lady. She was speaking Turkish.
Well, there was two. Oh, wait a minute. You must have.
I didn't know if she was a guy.
Oh, you must have watched it. I've got two about Turkey actually. I've got one in Istanbul where I'm with my friend Nancy, who lives out there.
Nancy rings about. Yeah.
Yeah. She lives out there.
We're eating bread.
Yeah. That was the food one you watched. Yeah.
Okay,
right. She's also features in my video about Cefalù in Sicily. a place in.
And what was the Las Vegas thing? That rings a bell. Las Vegas, something Jules in Las Vegas or Jules in America?
No, I haven't done one about.
You did. There's something with Jules. I've got a good mind to get my phone out.
I haven't done one in America.
No, it was something Jules.
I've done
the wedding. There was something going on with the wedding.
Oh right, no, yes, I know what you mean there. No, it was that was
in America.
Fox 5. Yeah, that was Fox 5 News, Fox 5 Las Vegas. I think.
Oh, Las Vegas. Yeah,
it was a Fox 5 channel, the TV channel in America.
To do something here.
Yeah, they wanted me to cover the royal wedding for them and send some things over for them. So I went and did some silly kind of reporting and things for them.
Has your face popped up anywhere overseas? Have you been at any?
Yeah. I'm more.
Oh, really?
I'm more valued in other countries, to be honest with you, than in
you're
England.
What they see is England. You're the example.
Well, yeah. I mean, no, it does sort of annoy me a little bit that I don't hear anything from the London tourism or British tourism, which is really bizarre because if you actually look at my channel and you look at what I do for London tourism and the amount of people who use it. It's surprising that they have zero interest. I mean, zero. Even if I approach them, it's just no, sorry.
Really?
And even when I go into shops and stuff, and I ask if I can go and film, they don't. It's really weird. I don't understand. They're happy to have Instagrammers going on, but as soon as I say, hey, do you want like 200,000 subscribers to come and visit your shop? No, we don't want filming in it. But no, I was on Japanese TV recently. I say I wasn't appreciated here, but I have to give a shout out to the fellow who does the Channel 5 documentary, Walking Wartime Britain.
Okay.
Because he's a fan, and he invited me to be on the show, which was really lovely. I was on episode 2.
Oh, you are.
It's available on My 5. If you watch Walking Wartime Britain, which is.
So what were you doing on there?
Well, there's a fella called Arthur Williams. I think that's his name. He's the presenter, and he goes around England looking at all these places connected with the war, they wanted me to talk about the bomb shelters in Clapham. So he comes down into the bomb shelters underneath Clapham South Station, and I'm there talking about them.
Oh, that reminds me actually. So we've got the paranormal investigators that you saw. We're having them on the show.
Oh, are you great? Because they
through you seeing them on
nice.
there. Because I would never have had people like that on there. Then I thought, well, they're quite sensible.
Well, and they're local as well. And,
here's my question to you.
And are they going to be in my my Kentish Town video? So that will time quite well because I'm actually I'm doing one of my, as I spoke to them back in Vintage Jules, because that was in Kentish Town that I
was just about to say you've been there. Was the Kentish Town station?
It's the old it's the abandoned one.
Right, so you walked it. So the video, if you haven't seen it, it's what's it classed as? Haunted?
Well, yeah, I did it because I needed to do something for Halloween a few years ago.
That's why we're trying to get them on now. But you walk on the video, you walk in there and quietly say, "Look, I don't believe, but it'll be a bit fun, won't it be exciting?" Yeah. And then you were hearing knocking and things.
Well, don't ruin it for the viewers.
But when you came out. When you were there, you were going, "Oh no, there's definitely." I was watching you to see if you're picking up on the fact of like they're doing something here, but you were like, "No, there's definitely something."
Well, I cannot confirm or deny whether I was playing up for the camera or not.
Okay, right.
But there was definitely knocking, and it wasn't them. And there was
nothing put in afterwards because you must have watched the video.
No.
That was happening.
There was definitely sounds and things. I mean, I'm still skeptical. Obviously, we were in a tube station after all. So it could have been anything. But
you were going, "No, it's coming from there."
Well, it's a creepy place. They took me to a really creepy place, and you're in the dark. And you're bound to start feeling a bit creeped out. But anyway, no, send them my regards because I was just looking a bit at that a bit today, so that will actually feature again in a few weeks' time when I've done my Kentish Town one.
Oh, a new footage with them.
Well, it's not new footage. It'll be a little bit
right.
of that, but because I'm going past there,
right.
And I can't be bothered to go through going inside. I'll just point to it and go, I visited here in the last video.
So you don't believe in ghosts?
I do. No, well, it's
something else.
It's different. I'm like. Have you seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yes.
I'm like George Clooney in that. He's going. Look, can we agree what we saw was vampires? I don't believe in vampires, but what we saw was vampires.
Yeah, that's probably healthy. Yeah.
That's what I am because I don't believe in ghosts, but I have seen a ghost, but I don't believe in them. So I'm still convinced that.
Well, it's coming up to Halloween, so can you give us that story?
Well, it was when I was at Manchester University, and I was sleeping in my room, which was I shared a house with 4 people, and
was there drink involved? Let's just get that out of the way.
I can't remember, but no, but there was psychological angst involved because my father had died just quite prior to that, quite recently to that year anyway, and so I was probably in a funny place in my head. I mean, I was in about 22. Anyway, I was lying there in this room and I woke up, and my bed was against the window in a kind of small, so top to tail in a little kind of wedged in, and I had a window on the side. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked over towards the window, and there was a woman holding back the curtain
from the outside.
No, well, on the inside, holding back the curtain. I thought, well, that's impossible because she's standing up. And so she must be standing through my bed because
I was just about to say the bed's against the
the bed was in the way, and so it didn't make sense. So I could see the top half of her, and then the rest of her disappeared into the bed, and I thought, well, that doesn't make sense. So I looked at her a bit longer, and I just thought, this is one of those tricks of the light. You know how sometimes when you look at the leaves, well, I was a little bit concerned to begin with, but she was a bit see-through. But you know, sometimes when you look at the leaves in a tree or something,
you get reflections in the window,
or you look at a cloud, it makes a shape, and I thought, well, okay, well, maybe it's just some trick of the light, shining on that wall or something. So I continued looking at it, and then she let go of the curtain and turned around and looked straight at me, and I absolutely freaked. I jumped out of the bed. I ran into my friend's room, which is this girl called Michaela. And I said to her, I've seen a ghost. Can I come and sleep in here?
I've heard that every night.
Nice try,
But she said yes, bless her. And so I slept the rest of the night in her bed, which and all my flatmates said, you dirty bastard. But I was genuinely scared. I mean, I was genuinely.
And looking back on it, do you think, no, I didn't see something?
Well, now I actually think that. Yeah, I think that I probably imagined it.
Really?
Well, I don't know. It felt real at the time. So I thought that sometimes Neo, your brain makes it real, Neo. You know.
Oh yeah.
I thought it must be because I was screwed up over my dad or something, or maybe I'd had a few drinks. But I've never hallucinated like that. I mean, it was real enough for me just to.
So you are doing the Clooney thing. Like when I was there, that's what I thought I saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's not like you're imagining it in the future. Okay.
But
do you believe in ghosts, Charles?
I mean,
what's your theory go?
I suppose that there is. I suppose in an abstract way, I think that there is possibly more to the universe than this mere sort of matter and this sort of maybe there's more to it. Maybe there's different things that maybe we could perceive the universe in a slightly different way. I don't know, and maybe we're seeing it in a very limited way. I'm sure in 1,000 years that people have a very different outlook, and a very different understanding of how reality works and how the universe works and how we perceive things. So,
I remember,
is it possible?
I don't know if it's Neil deGrasse Tyson. Somebody asked him, and he said, "Look," he said about ghosts, and he said, "I'm not like," he said, "How do you explain things moving and all this?" And he said, "Look, I'm not saying they don't." He said, I'm just saying it's not ghosts because we don't know about energy. There might be some energy thing that does make a chair move across the table."
You are right. I am open to us not entirely understanding everything, but do I believe that was actually a spirit of a dead person? No, I don't. I don't believe that. No. But there could have been some sort of imaginary thing. God knows, I don't know.
Who knows? Time echoes, parallel universe, whatever.
I had a nice book when I was a kid, all about ghosts, and I had lots of different.
As you do, that's
different what you do. Sort of pictures of ghosts coming out of chimneys and things, and it said, "Who believes in ghosts? Not me. Friendly ghosts are all I see. Whether they're impudent or kind, they seem to know what's in my mind." And then they had all these
quite nice
ghosts. I said the ghost in the smoke wears a frown. He spreads his gloom all over the town. And he was coming out of a chimney with
is it Kitty's book?
Yeah.
I was going to say.
And there was another one coming out of a tap, all shaped like water and stuff. And that was.
So you put that next to your Stig in the Dump book.
Yeah.
Talking of the ghosts. I listened. There's the BBC have done this fantastic series on I think it's Radio 4. Where they're going back to speak to people that they did documentaries about on Radio 4 from like years ago and getting the people back. So one of them was like on it's time of the IRA, and they had like a prison officer from the Maze prison, somebody that was in the prison, and a politician from the time who's one of the family was assassinated. And then they spoke to them then. So they're now getting them back. They're called the BBC Reunion documentaries or something. And they did do that one. They did one called Brighton Rocks. Wasn't there a thing about the SAS assassinating an IRA person in
Gibraltar?
In Gibraltar. Yeah. They get them back on.
Incident,
anyway,
yeah.
And they do the other one is the Enfield Ghost.
Oh.
Which is the most famous case. And when I watched it, I thought, how is that not like more well known? It's in Enfield town.
Mm.
And it was the two young girls that were haunted in 1977. And it's the most documented case ever. And it's the only case where the ghostly doings has made it onto an official report by a police officer. Like, it's the only time it's happened. And you can watch the interview of the copper who says, I can't remember it now, but she said basically I was in the room. There's two of them turned up, and the chair came up and flew across the room, and she ran out of the house. But she wrote that, she put it down like that's what happened in there. But when you watch what happened, the Enfield Ghost, the Enfield Haunting, it's like, oh my God, that's not like they had a news reporter that went down there and ended up staying with the family. There was one of these psychic researchers who debunks everything, went there to think, I'll just get rid of them and go on holiday, I'll just knock it on the head. And he ended up living with the family for a year, documenting everything. All the audio recordings, they got... The girl was speaking in a weird voice, like talking about this old man. And this is 1977, these young girls.
I was going to say, otherwise they could have called in the paranormal investigators.
Yeah,
having on
this
your
is
show.
77, two working class kids. And they were asking the ghost things, and it's like for an hour, you can hear them talking to the ghost through the girl. But this reunion is one of the BBC reporters went to report on it at the time and ended up saying about what she saw.
Yeah.
She was there when she saw things happening, and she's there now talking about this thing along with the paranormal investigators. And one of the things was like outside the police thing, they had a... it's such a bit. You've got to go and watch this thing. But you can watch the original one. It's on YouTube. But there was a lollipop lady outside the house. Said like, well, we heard what was going on, but we thought they were like nutters or something like that. She said, I saw one of the girls floating in the window, like she's outside the things outside the house, and she said that was the only time it really scared me. But the girl, like it was this guy who just didn't believe in anything. Even now, when he's on the show, he's saying. He was there because the vocal, she was speaking in this weird voice. And they were saying to the girl, like, who are you? And the voice was coming up and he was swearing at them and things like that. F you, I'm a ghost, and all this sort of stuff. And they're saying, how did you die? And then the girl explained it in a medical term, like how he died. It was oculus something, eyes something, when he was... And the guy said, so I was brought in to like try and see, is this girl faking this? He said it became a bit of a freak show, the reporter. He said because everyone was coming down to have a look because it was a big story. Like magicians were turning up to the house to see if they could see anything. He said I was worried for the girl's mental health at this point because people were taking it as a joke. So they got this guy in and he did the vocal things. And he came in there and he says, he said, I don't believe in ghosts or any of this Victorian stuff. He said, that's what he's saying now. I said, I'm just telling you what my report found from me being there. He said, what I was measuring her throat. So she's talking for like an hour, saying all this stuff about, she said I died in the chair downstairs. And the son, when he saw the TV program, got in contact to say, yeah, that's where my dad died. He was found in the chair in the thing. Anyway, he said, when I was testing her, he said, where she was speaking from, he said, even an adult, you could get that voice up for about 4 seconds because the muscle that it's coming from isn't lubricated. So you would immediately get a sore throat. He said, for a child to speak like that, it's impossible. And she's speaking like that from that part of the throat for an hour. Like, you can listen to the thing on it. And she said, so do you believe in it? He said, no, I don't believe in ghosts. He said, it's a Victorian thing. He said, I'm just telling you that there's no way somebody should speak like that for that matter. It doesn't medically work. And you can hear the recordings of them talking to her. And even the BBC journalist is talking to her, and she's now looking back at it. But the guys, the talking to the builder, who says when he was there, it's just the mum and the two daughters, said she came round to the house because something moved across the table and she got scared. So she didn't know what to do. There was knocking coming from all over the house. She went next door. So they're now speaking to the builder, and the builder says, I went round there and I was listening. He said, I thought it might be an airlock or something like that in the plumbing. but it kept knocking. And he said, wherever I went, the knock followed me. And he said, I got a little bit scared. It was the middle of the night. He said, so I went and got my son and my uncle and got them around the house. And then the knocks were in each room where they were. And he said, I don't know what's going on here. But they called the police. And that's when the police, because they said, the police said, look, we're not to turn up. And he said, look, there's a woman here with 2 kids on their own, and I've got to go back to my house. So he pulled them around. And then, so they came around. But then,
you can tell it was the 70s because they called the police and they actually turned up.
They turned up, yeah. It's funny when you watch it because you hear them speaking proper, like what you think is British accent when she's going, well, today. Then when they got a news report around to say, look, you need to talk about this. And he went around and he's like, I'm going to go around there. It'll be a nice little story before I go on holiday. And I went round and he said, I went into the kitchen and there's like, nothing's happening. He said, oh, she's drunk. And he said, when the woman called up to say, look, I've been told that you could come and investigate this story. And she was so sweet. She's just a working class mum. He said, I said to her, yeah, all right, love. Yeah, you call me when the pubs are closed. And he said, she called me back. And she said, oh, hi, the pubs are closed now. And he said, she's just then. Anyway, so he said, I'll pop round. He said, it'll be silly. He went round, nothing was happening. And they said, oh, usually it's when the other girl is in the room. He said, so the mum got the girl up from bed and carried her in, asleep in her arms. And he said, he walked into the room and he said, something shot across the room and hit him in the head. And he said, but where it came from, there was nothing there. He said, so I immediately walked into the corner of the room to see if anyone was throwing everything. And then something else shot across the room. This goes on for a year, all this sort of stuff. And then one day it just stopped and died. They were throwing investigators out there. And it's such, I said the vocalist that they got around the BBC report that went and did the documentary at the time of the stuff that was happening, and it was just like this massive story, but it just vanished. And now they've done the reunion where they speak to the people from the time, apart from one of the people dead, his son's there, and they just go through the whole litany of what happened to these girls. The girls won't talk about it. But it's like an amazing story. And there's somebody did a documentary where he went back to the house that's still there now. You still go there. And it says, like, Jesus lives in the window. He didn't go in.
I may have to cover that when I get to Enfield eventually. I mean, it sounds like the sort of thing I'll cover.
The story is so big. For a year, people were living. The BBC woman from the Radio 4 said, I was staying in the house, she said, because I was worried about the mental health of these guys. They weren't sleeping. She said the mum and they would have to bring them downstairs, and they were sleeping in an upright chair because they were too scared.
Sounds like he does believe in ghosts. If you ask me, I think he says.
It freaked me out when I listened to it. Though.
I do have a favourite ghost actually, relating to London. Since I just feel I should talk about London.
Halloween's coming up this season.
Well, yeah, I do. My favourite ghost is the one in Cock Lane.
Oh, right.
You know, in
Fanny Scratching.
Yeah, the ghost of Fanny Scratching in Cock Lane.
Fanny Scratching lives in Cock Lane.
Well, no. It's very pleasing and juvenile, but there is a street called there is a street called Cock Lane in the city, and it's just near St Bartholomew the Great Church, and there was a fella there. Actually, funnily enough, just by coincidence and pleasingly for me, it was the only road where prostitution was tolerated back in those days. Yeah. But I don't know why I'm obsessed with it.
3 times prostitution.
But anyway,
it's coming up.
He's in Camden.
There was a fella by the name of Kent, and his surname, I can't remember his name. He's Kent, and his wife, called Fanny, which was a normal name in those days, had died, and he had moved into this house in Cock Lane, and his wife had died, anyway, the landlord wanted him out of this house, and so he's concocted this sort of this story. But he said, "Look, there's this scratching sound in the floorboards. It's a scratching sound. It's the ghost of your dead wife." And then it became a big scandal, and everyone started looking into it because this Kent guy was going, look, he's just trying to get me out of the house, you know. And but Charles Dickens wrote about it. Hogarth did paintings about it, and Dr. Johnson got placed at the head of a committee to look into this phenomenon to establish whether this was a hoax or not, you know. Anyway, yeah, I think that it turned out, obviously, that this scratching sound was clearly not the ghost of his dead wife, and it was probably just some rats or something. But anyway, yeah. So this landlord fella got they established that, and then he was found guilty of creating this stupid hoax and put in the stocks. He was put in the town stocks.
Well,
and then it became known as the ghost of Fanny scratching in Cock Lane.
Didn't they?
I think social media will be a very different place if people were putting stocks for telling lies.
Yeah. Yeah, because he got done because didn't he do a seance or something? But they got a lot of sort of patrician blokes to come round one evening. And then they said, no, he's doing
that. Does sound familiar. I don't know the full story. I only know that sort of concise version of it. But yeah,
I think he was trying to make money from it.
Yes, exactly. That's what it was. Yeah. It wasn't just because he told a lie. He was actually genuinely trying to create
profiting from it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what happened is he started to believe his own hype, and then he got some people around, and some like very prominent people came around one evening, and then they
social media would be very different if people grifting off lies, profiting off things that they know to be untrue. They'll
talk about social media again. We've done this on the last show. Right, so we've done an hour.
You asked me if I was big in any other countries, and I just sorry to interrupt you again, but I can't neglect my friends in Serbia and Croatia, where I quite often seem to be employed, and they seem to like me over there quite a lot. So
what have you been doing there?
Well, I was on TV in Serbia. I'm always doing tourism stuff, films.
Really, so you really are being
films. That's separate. I mean, I was already making. They already liked me before I did the London stuff, so they appreciated what I was doing. I was making other tourism films. I've got a nice video about like I said, Cefalù in Sicily, and there's one about Belgrade. There's this one about Serbia. Yeah, my new one about Turkey, which you didn't watch. I was just saying, one of the reason I was mentioning it's an odd thing about YouTube is that you tend to get a following of people who are into a certain thing. And so the majority of the people who watch my films, what I'm discovering is, I think, and I may be mistaken, is that they watch me because they are interested in London rather than they watch me because they're interested in me. It just so happens that I'm somebody. There are different types.
You're a good communicator.
There are different types of channels. Some people watch people because they like the person.
And
some people like people to say like the subject, and it just turns out that I make quite good content about London. So it so happens that I'm in it, but I'm not the reason they're watching it. They're watching it because they like watching something about London. Now, I know that, or I think that, because when I make a perfectly good film about somewhere else, like my one about Turkey, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was really interesting. All the places I went to are real classical historical stuff, but it just didn't do as well. And I think it's simply because when it comes up on the thing, people go, well, actually, no, I'd rather watch something about Romford, I don't want to.
But is there sort of more facts and figures in London? There's more history, more history, but there's more things to point at, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, wait a minute, it's not in Turkey. I mean, we're talking about the whole of the Gallipoli campaign.
Yeah, I know.
We got the Trojan Wars. There was no shortage of interesting stuff.
No, but you can go hear the thing.
I suppose it's just familiarity, really, isn't it? It's just that people know England, people know London.
I'm sure there are. No, what I'm saying is I'm sure there are many films about Turkey which have done very well. They're probably done by people who specialize in either traveling around the world or specialize in Turkey or something like that. It's just that. So those people who watch me, usually they're expecting something to do with London, which means that. So people often say to me, "Oh, June, why don't you do something about here? Why don't you do something about that? Why can't you make a different type of video?" And I'd like to. I want to make other types of video, but unfortunately, in a way, YouTube sort of have you by the balls because you've got to continue doing it regularly and to a certain. It's
got to be what it is, yeah.
Well, because this is the thing. This is the good and the bad with YouTube, I suppose. Because if you get known to be, I don't know, the guy who likes Super Nintendo or whatever, and does the Super Nintendo, and then does all the retro games. Then they that's all they can do, and then very often.
Well, yeah. If you then suddenly started doing a video about how to make boiled eggs, then people wouldn't. Those people who usually follow him, they'd look at that and they'd probably not watch it because. that's not their interest. And it's yeah, look, it has its good sides and it has its...
Plus, you haven't got your uniform and you're going overseas. You can't really walk around the Sahara Desert with you.
That's true.
We could have a fez instead. You could swap it.
I might add that my Pitcairn Island documentary has had almost 2 million views. So
have you got any interest in filmmaking, like just a film, like something, like, is there anything in there?
Yeah, I'd like
short horror.
I'd love to do all that stuff. I'd love to do it, but it's all to do with the amount, the budget, and,
right?
Having a crew. I mean, the ones that I make, I mean, it's hard enough just to make, and and like you say, it looks like a pretty simple.
Yeah, it
film.
does. It does.
It looks very simple. It just looks like I'm walking around, and it looks like it's been filmed in about 1 or 2 hours.
Well, I can't believe you said that things aren't filmed on the same day. Even
that takes me a week. Each one, it takes me at least a week to film it. Then it's a week to research it, and then a week to edit it.
That looks like you have walked out that day and come back with some footage.
Well, that is good, and it has that naturalistic.
Yeah.
Well, usually the bits of me. Normally the bits of me are filmed on the same day. So because I get Simon to come and film me, and I have to be in that outfit. But
who are the people you film? Because some people pop up. So you've got I've seen the woman who is that your.
Well, my sister's in it sometimes. She's and she writes music for it as well.
And who's the fella that pops up?
Simon is usually the guy with the camera. Oh, okay. But there's a Chinese guy called Kai who sometimes pops up, and occasionally it depends who's available. It's like it's a friend. Tom Carradine is often playing the piano with the guy with a twirly moustache. So that's quite good.
So what have you got coming? Have you finished the Kentish Town one?
Well, I've got to film that next week, hopefully. But again, it's the weather as well. All these things are a real pain in the neck because I'll go out first and I'll go and film all the stuff.
Tottenham one, it was raining. It's the only time
and then I have to go up there again. Tottenham killed me. I mean, I had to go up there several times, and it was a big area.
You covered a lot, yeah.
And I had to film it on another day, so I had to get some nice sunny shots because I prefer to look at things when they're sunny. But then it cuts to me, and I'm standing in the rain, and it's just it's infuriating on a creative level.
Even that when you end up in Broadwater Farm, even talking about that, I thought, he's even done that. I wouldn't have thought he'd go near that.
I didn't think I'd ever be dressed like that walking around Broadwater Farm estate. But it's actually perfectly fine there now.
I knew Tottenham pretty well, and you're going, oh no, that's there. And there was the sign. Was it what was the house? And it's got the one blue plaque.
Oh yeah, that's in Bruce Grove. Yeah,
go past 1,000 times. I didn't even realise.
The guy who, the namer of clouds.
Yeah,
he's the guy who, I've forgotten his name.
Meteorology or something. Yeah.
He was a meteorologist, he's the one who came up with the names for clouds, like cumulus, nimbus, nimbus stratus, and all that.
Sirius or whatever.
Cirrus.
Half the name of Star Trek episodes, nimbus, nebulous. Yeah. But I thought, oh god, I know that. But I'm going, they're even that. I'm not kidding. The Ghanaian restaurant.
Oh no, the Ghanaian bakery.
I'd been in there a while ago. I don't think it was the same people.
Oh, he was. Really
Did you pay for that? All that stuff at the end?
No.
I thought you must have paid. That's too much.
Credit to them. They were lovely, and they were really. See, sometimes you go to places and the people are a delight. Yeah. And because the guy who was running it, he understood. He was pretty young.
Yeah.
The guy. Was it called Uncle John's? I think it's
something
Uncle
like
John's. And he was so. Usually, what happens is if you approach somebody and they're fairly young, they kind of get it.
Right.
But if it's someone who's sort of over 50, and you say, "Can I come and film?" They think, "Well, wait a minute, what's in it for me? What, you're trying to make money out of us?" And I'm all right. No, you're benefiting from it. Yeah, exactly. I've had that. But they were lovely, and they were so pleased that I featured them, and I featured them well as well. I gave them a lot of, and I went up there several times as well. I had to keep going back to.
If I'm going past it, I will go in there just off of you now.
Well, it's nice. Well, I'll be glad. But it was lovely in there, and they gave me a lot of stuff, and now he was a good sport as well about the Shih Tzu sauce.
Yeah, I thought you. Yeah, the fact he went, look, it is funny. Yeah,
I had to tell him because for him it's just normal. That's a Ghanaian word. He had this Shih Tzu sauce. It was this hot chili sauce.
Okay,
and I had to go back there. I said to him, listen, do you mind if I come back up and refilm that bit? Because the way you talked about it looked like you didn't find it even remotely amusing. I thought it's like you didn't get the joke and you were pissed off with me. And he went, no.
You did a reshoot. Wow.
I'm sure.
I had to go up there a few times actually. Yeah. They were lovely, and so they gave me all that stuff for free.
Have you had any bad experiences doing it, or like negative experiences?
Loads. I'm always about every time what I'm filming. It's just it takes so long. I'm just a proud person. A lot of people won't mind if a dust truck pulls up or stuff like that, but I have to wait. Sometimes I'm just standing there waiting until the bloody dustbin will move out of the way. then you get people coming up to you telling you, F off, don't fucking film in front of me. Don't fucking point that camera at me. What you do?
Yeah.
All that sort of thing.
A lot of old people out there.
Suppose,
Angry people. And then arguments just with my sister and Simon.
Really?
My sister. We're always bickering. Families. We're always just bickering. And I'm generally tetchy because I'm the director,
right?
And I'm the editor, and I'm trying. And it's my channel, and it means more to me than it means to anybody else.
Right.
And so if it's screwed up, it's going to affect me. And other people, they don't understand. They don't care. They like, I've got to be somewhere, and I'm like, look, you said you were going to help.
Yeah.
Can you stay with me the whole day? And they're like, no, I've got to go now. I was like, now that joke that I had set up that I was going to do, it's not going to work. And then I can't come back tomorrow, but we've got to finish that bit that we were doing tomorrow. And it drives me. So that's all the whole time, actually, I'm not. So sometimes people write to me and say, oh, Julian, can I come and out for one of your days of filming? And I'm like, well, it's very nice that they want to, but I have to say no, because
it's not a nice day out filming.
It's not what it looks like. I make it to look like it's a fun, jolly experience, but actually I'm tetchy and irritable and angry the whole day.
So you're acting. You are.
Of course. Well, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to look at the camera and start sort of be really grumpy. No one will watch. But I'm only grumpy because I'm trying to get it right, and I've taken on too much. It's a lot to think about because also I've got to remember the facts. People don't realise that is a lot of stuff to try and remember. And you've got to say it in a fun, engaging way. I mean, if you just sort of talk to the camera and you say, "Oh well, in 1868, Queen Victoria, she came down this road and she stopped at this pub and had a beer and it's really interesting." I read it out like that. It's not. No one's going to watch and so sometimes even if I'm interviewing someone else, I have to say to them, "Listen, can you do that again?" But seem a bit more engaged in it, because otherwise people will switch off, and YouTube especially, it's something where people they'll switch off and they'll go and watch something else, but the thing that I get most annoyed about is people. I mean, it happened to me in Covent Garden. I won't say who it was, but it was in Covent Garden recently, and I went and I asked if I could film, and they said, yeah, you can film. We don't usually like people filming, but you can come. And then I went back to in my bowler hat and everything to finish what I'd started. And then she went mental with me saying, "I told you no filming in here." And I just, what?
Ruining the atmosphere a bit.
I had to sort of go count to 10, because I couldn't understand why you would want to lose a customer, a good customer, rather than gain 200,000. And all I did was ask why. I just said, "Well, why?" No, we're not allowed it. We don't want him filming in here. I said, and then I called up the Freemasons Lodge, and they were so nice, And I just said to the lady there, "You're so nice and friendly in comparison to those other people." And so I'm looking forward to that. She really, some people really appreciate it, and that's a delight when people are really appreciative. Yeah.
So some people are very eager to tell their story, aren't they? And some people are very eager to engage. Yeah. I remember doing some work for BBC Berkshire a while ago, and the same thing, trying to get interviews for people. Some people are very happy to sit and stop and have a chat, and and be interviewed, and they're very articulate. Some of them. Most people are like, "Oh no, oh god, no."
Yeah.
Like,
but I can entirely understand if someone doesn't want to be filmed. That is perfectly fine. And I said, "That's fine." But I didn't want to film them. I said, "Look, if you don't want to be in it, that's fine. I can do the talking. I'll just point at a couple of things. All I have to do is just say, 'Oh, look, I like coming here. This is one of my favorite places.'" And then show some of the things in the location that I'm at. It might be a pub or a shop or a museum. I just go, "Oh yeah, no, this is a great place. I love coming here." Now, amazingly, I have some weight now. I pull some weight now. If I go to a place and I tell people, "Hey, I love going here," people do go there. Yeah. They genuinely do. I can prove it. And I just find it astonishing that they are so against it. Because now, I mean, I'm not like that. I don't do bad negativity in my films, right? But I could just stand outside the place and go, "Do not go there. Don't go there. It's terrible." Do you know? But I don't. I wouldn't do that. But it's just.
What have you?
So they're better off. Sorry for my rant, but they're better. You got me ranting. They're far better. They're much better off just being nice and saying, yeah, that's fine, come and say something nice about us, rather than angering me. Because, I wouldn't do it, but another person might well stand outside and just say, this is the worst place I've ever been to in my life, and put people off it.
Have you, and you've said you're doing the Kentish Town thing, is there anything like this year or over the next year where you're thinking about doing? Is there anything that's in the pipeline that you're thinking about?
Yeah, there's lots of places.
Don't worry. It's all right, go on.
I'll probably be back in Serbia again. I like Serbia, and
really?
and I also, but I think I've got some work there as well, possibly.
What about the UK?
And in the UK, well,
Scotland, I can see you up in Scotland.
Funnily enough, I'm probably going to Whitby. I've got a sort of fascination with Captain Cook and also Dracula, who landed in Whitby.
Indeed.
Well, it's funny enough because I was in the place in Serbia. I was quite close to the Carpathian Mountains, just across the river in Romania. And he left from there and he arrives in Whitby, so it's quite.
I just heard the other day. You know the thing about why it's bad to put your elbows on the table? You heard this?
Because it makes a noise when you're doing a podcast?
Well, that's part of the atmosphere. It's the theatre again. It's apparently, whatever. Yeah. It was to do with people that lived on ships, specifically pirates, that when you ate, you had to hold the table down to stop it moving. So it was seen as like you're somebody that comes from the ships.
Right.
That they were forced to have it when they were. Are
you
on
sure?
land.
This sounds a little bit dubious to me.
I don't think you can prove it, so it's just an idea.
Because officers also used to be on ships as well. I mean,
yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, it doesn't. Now you say that, but I thought, okay, it sort of works.
I'll take it.
There's no way.
It's good enough for me.
It's a nice story.
I like it.
It's good enough for Joolz Guides. But no, that's the spirit of Joolz Guides.
Yeah,
is that if you hear a story, see what I do is I don't.
Have you got an agent?
No,
have you approached any?
Not really. I'm trying to. I'd like.
I know
to,
a really nice one, a really good one.
Yeah, hook me up, man.
I've just speaking to her recently.
The thing I struggle with is that I do have a guy who's sort of kind of trying to help out a bit, but here and there. But
no, you need.
He does mostly Instagram, and he said to me, that look, since seen what I do is YouTube, and it's sort of a slightly different and a bit different.
No, this is a proper agent, not like something.
Yeah, I need a proper agent. I've got acting agencies, but
no, no. Just the fact you've come on here, I'll do my best on that end because I know I've literally been speaking to this weekend. But no, you should because you've got a bloody good. You're the leader in London Guides on the internet.
I'm gonna be on Strictly. I'm telling you, I should be on TV. I've always thought
I can see you. Yeah,
I'm resigned. You know what's sad is that I kind of. I used to be full of beans. I used to be full of energy, cheer. I was so, full of enthusiasm for life and everything.
What, you don't think you are now?
Well, I was more talented. I could do so many things. I could juggle. I would have been the perfect Blue Peter presenter. I'm telling you, I could juggle. I could play the guitar. I could, balance things on my nose whilst juggling ping pong balls in my mouth and playing the guitar. It's crazy, sort of weird.
What about?
And I'm educated. I'm funny. and I'm good at presenting. In a way,
this could be your time that you're moving.
Now
into
I'm like the guys in Dad's Army. I couldn't. No. They finally made it when they were in their 70s, right. And I'm just like, I could do this. Honestly, I could do it. But it's only now that I finally don't care anymore. I've sort of resigned and think, oh God, just leave me alone. Now everyone starts phoning me up. Last week I've been phoned up by so many different people.
Oh really?
Yeah. But
so
I wish I'd offer a bit of money though. Yeah.
Well, there's quite a bit of freedom, isn't there, in just giving up, I feel. Well, yeah, I gave up a few years ago and I'm just loving it.
It's true.
Yeah, I did listen to the Schwarzenegger autobiography, or the unauthorized autobiography, which is always more interesting. And he goes and talks to the ex-girlfriends, and he can only get to speak to a few of them because everyone's like on lockdown with Schwarzenegger. He knows, nobody knows to say anything. And he speaks to one, and she says, He got in contact with her, and when he started to do politics and like start to actually do things, and she said, I was sitting with him and he was crying, and he said, I wasted so many years of my life in gyms, just pushing weights up and down. Now that I'm actually on a global stage doing it, he said, but she had to explain to me, look, without that, this doesn't exist. I don't think it works with you as well. Without the other stuff, you don't exist now. And I always think it's better to piss around for the first half and be happy in the second half rather than burn your bridges at the first. And
who said I was happy? Do I look happy?
The way you tap dance up them stairs there.
No, I'm actually, the nicest thing, it sounds cheesy, the nicest thing is though that people are genuinely appreciating what I am doing, and they're actually enjoying it, and that's reward in itself. It really is. I mean, the fact that people are watching the stuff that I make and they think it's brilliant.
I wait for your stuff to come out.
They use it as well. Taxi drivers, they use my show to.
Funny enough, there was a taxi driver thing that popped up. Somebody else was doing similar sort of stuff to you as a taxi driver, and it was just nothing. Just there was no charm to it.
Well,
it was nice.
It's difficult. You know, the thing is that it's difficult to make. I'm not trying to be a better YouTuber than anybody. I literally just want to make nice videos, and your average person doesn't have time to make them the way I do. I mean, look, it's only because I have made that decision that I'm going to do this. I'm on a mission from God. Yeah. I'm going to do all these areas, and I'm going to do them as well as I can. And it just takes. But most people, they just can't do that. It's of course they can, but it doesn't. It just takes up too much time.
Yeah,
it's a full-time job, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Most people are married with kids, and they've got stuff to do. You know, or it's like they're not just a bum like me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think we should end with the compliments. But as I said, I am just one person saying this. But I wanted to meet you because you do good work.
Thanks, very kind.
I've seen your videos before, and I really enjoyed them. I mean, honestly, when he said, we're going to get you on, I was like,
he said, I think I've seen him once. He got excited.
I swear I've seen you about as well.
That's very kind. Very kind.
No, it's not just enjoyable. I've actually learned more from you than any other teacher about the geography of London. I've now interesting thing, and that's just from me. I'm just one person saying that, but that is just that's my story from having seen your show.
That is.
And before you say anything else or get any, we're just going to end it on there. So the Joolz Guide is the best travel guide for London anywhere on the internet. Have you got anything you want to say before we go? Have you got anything coming up? You just
anything you want to plug? Or...
Look out for the new video. What is the channel? Joolz Guides.
Well, the YouTube channel is
Joolz Guides.
Is Joolz Guides. It's spelled JOOLZ. Pretty easy to find. You'll find a guy with a bowler hat usually.
Yeah, you're staying up.
And
that was it.
Anything to plug? Not really. Just to subscribe to the channel. But
a
lot of people don't subscribe, and they just watch it. But it does make a huge difference if you do subscribe, and you don't get any kind of no one writes to you or anything like that. It just makes me look good.
I think you're just getting going. I think your work is just getting going. And as I said, I'll speak to a couple of agents because you should have an agent. That's ridiculous. You're one of the main pillars of British society now, as far as I'm concerned. And we'll end it there. Yeah. So, Jules, thank you very much.
And thank you very much for coming.
Pleasure.
Tally ho, chaps.